Now today we are going to the next topic, that is push-pull class B amplifier. So in the previous section we discussed that in class B amplifier the operating point is to be lies on x-axis. So it will conduct only for 1/2 cycle, and so that the output will be distorted in order to get a full cycle across the load. So due to this case we will go to use the pair of transistors in class B operation. Okay, here the two transistors which we are choosing should be identical in their characteristics, and so that these are called the matched transistors. We already discussed in the previous section that if both the impedances are to be matched, so that it can provide the full half cycle at the output side. In this case, here we will get the two terms. One is push-pull class B amplifier and another one the complementary symmetry class B amplifier. Here we need to see the explanation of these both. One is push-pull class B amplifier and another one is complementary symmetry class B amplifier. Now, what is this push-pull class B amplifier? We already seen in the starting introduction, that is in the case of push-pull class B amplifier we need to use both the transistors that is or of same type. If we use the both transistors of same type, that is either NPN or PNP, then we will say it is a push-pull class B amplifier. Okay, push-pull amplifier is nothing but the using of two transistors in the circuit. Why means in class B the Q point will be on x-axis, so it conducts only for 1/2 cycle. In order to conduct for full half cycle we need to use two transistors, but if we use the transistors of same type, that is if both are NPN or both are PNP, then we will say it is a push-pull class B amplifier. Coming to the complementary symmetry. Complementary, that means here also we will use two transistors, but one should be of other type and the other transistor should be another type. That means one is NPN and the other will be PNP, or one transistor will be PNP and the other transistor should be NPN. Okay, then we will say though that is a complementary symmetry class B power amplifier. Yes, is it clear? Now we will go to in this first one, push-pull class B amplifier. So in the case of push-pull circuit we need to use two transformers. Okay, one is at the input side and one is at the output side. So the transformer which is using at the input side, we will call that as a driver transformer. Okay, the transformer which is using at the input side we will call it as driver transformer, and the other one is connected to the load, so that transformer we will call it as a output transformer. Okay, the transformer which is connected at the input side called as driver transformer, and the transformer which is connected to the load we will call it as a output transformer. Okay, and here the transformers which are using both or will be the center tapped transformers. Okay, so next we will see the push-pull class B amplifier circuit. In that we will consider the two transistors as Q1 and Q2, or we can also consider as T1 and T2. Okay, either Q1, Q2 or either T1 and T2. Okay, and both are of should be of same type, right? So now we move on to the circuit of push-pull class B amplifier. So here is the circuit regarding the push-pull class B amplifier. So here see the circuit. At the input side we used one transformer, and at across the load we are using another transformer. So the transformer at the input side, just now we see in the what that is one transformer which is using at the input side, we will call it as a driver transformer. So here the input side transformer was driver transformer, and the output side which is connected across the load is a output transformer. And here the N1 and N2 are the primary windings and the secondary windings. So here we are consider the two transistors T1 and T2. So here see both the transistors we are using here is a NPN transistor. So both are of same type, right? So we call this as a push-pull amplifier construction. Okay. So here see in class B amplifier, it conducts only one half cycle. So here see, if we apply the positive half cycle, if we apply the input as a sine wave, and here during the positive, when we are considering the positive cycle, then during the positive half cycle the transistor T1 will conduct and the transistor T2 does not conduct. That means the transistor T1 will be in forward bias during the positive half cycle, and the transistor T2 will be in reverse biased. Okay, so the current flows only across the transistor T1 from this secondary transformer. So the current I1 will flows here in this direction during positive half cycle. Next, coming to the negative half cycle. Coming to the negative half cycle, now here we are considering the negative half cycle. During negative half cycle, the transistor T1 will become reverse bias and the transistor T2 will become forward bias. That means the transistor T1 will be in off state and the transistor T2 will be in on state. So the current will start flowing across this transistor T2. So the current flowing will be I2. Okay. So this is the operation is to be going on. So for one half cycle it will conducts and the other half cycle it will conducts in the transistor T2. So the name why we got this as push-pull class B amplifier means for one half cycle it will push the output to the positive side. For one half cycle it will push the output to positive side, and during the negative half cycle it will pulls the output towards the negative. So the name we got it as a push-pull class B amplifier. Okay. So here see during positive half cycle, here the transistors used here in this case are NPN transistors. So whenever if we apply the input voltage, what it happens during positive half cycle, T1 will be forward bias, conduction will take place, and T2 will be reverse bias. So there will be no current flow. So the current will flows only across the transistor T1. Okay. So we are assuming the current I1 which is flowing across the transistor T1 at the output stage. Hence the current flows through the secondary winding will produces the output voltage V0 across RL. Okay. And in the same way the explanation what we gave during the negative half cycle, if we apply the input voltage Vs, then the transistor T1 is reverse bias, no current will flows, and the transistor T2 will be forward bias, there the current will flows. So the current which is flowing will be considered as I2. Okay. So here the two currents, the I1 and I2 are the opposing currents. So here the two currents I1 and I2 are opposing currents. Hence the current flowing in the secondary winding is to be considered as I. So here the total current we need to consider I. So I equals to I1 minus I2. So I1 minus I2. Why means here both the currents are in opposing direction. Okay, so now we move on to the next analysis of this class B amplifier. So here coming to the DC operation, here the DC biasing point, that is Q point. We already said the Q point is to be adjusted on the X axis. So here we need to take the VCEQ is equals to VCC. So VCEQ equals to VCC, and here the ICEQ is 0. Hence the coordinates of the Q point are VCC, 0. Hence there will be no DC bias voltage. Next, coming to the DC power input, here the each transistor output will be is in the form of half rectified waveform. Hence, if Im is the peak value of the output current, here see the DC input power, here the output we are getting is a half rectified waveform. Why means one half will conduct during one half cycle and the other half will conduct during the another half cycle. So here we consider Im is the peak value of the output current. So next here, if we consider here the half rectified output, that is Im by pi. Okay, the power, DC power we will get is the Im by pi. So due to half rectified waveform, you will get the IDC is equals to Im by pi plus Im by pi, that equals to 2 Im by pi. So the total DC input power is to be given as, what is the power? The product of voltage and current. So PDC equals to VCC into IDC. So PDC equals to, what is IDC value? We got 2 Im by pi. So we will substitute that value here. So you will get PDC equals to 2 by pi VCC into Im. So next we need to calculate the AC output power. So we calculated the DC input power. We got PDC equals to 2 by pi VCC into Im. So AC output power, as Im and Vm, we need to consider the current and voltage. Those are the peak values of the output current. So if we consider the voltage and current in terms of RMS, we already got this formulas. Vrms equals to Vm by root 2 and Irms equals to Im by root 2. So now we need to calculate the AC output power. We know that AC output power, that equals to product of voltage into current. So Vrms into Irms, and in the place of here V, we need to substitute Irms into RL. So if we substitute in the place of Vrms, Irms into RL, then you will get I square RMS into RL dash. So you will get V square RMS divided by RL. Okay, consider these as equation number 2. Next, while using the peak values, now it can be expressed as AC output power PAC is equals to Vm Im by 2. We know this condition, right? Vrms into Irms. If we do this product, then you will get Vm Im by 2. In the same way, here we have, you know what is Vm, right? So here Vm equals to Im into RL. So if you substitute in the place of Vm Im into RL dash, then you will get Im square RL dash by 2. So again here we have from this expression Im equals to Vm divided by RL dash. So if we substitute in the place of Im this value, then you will get Vm square divided by 2 RL dash. Okay, is it clear? Now we got the DC input power value to. Now coming to the continuation of the before class, in that we calculated PDC equals to 2 by pi VCC into IM, and we calculated PAC equals to VM IM by 2. So we calculated DC input power and AC output power. Now we need to calculate the efficiency. So the efficiency, we know the definition, the ratio of AC output power to the DC input power, we will call it as a efficiency. But while calculating the efficiency in terms of percentage, we need to do into 100. So you will get the formula PAC divided by PDC into 100. So what is AC output power expression? We have VM IM by 2. So VM IM by 2 whole divided by, and we have the DC input power expression, that is PDC equals to 2 by pi VCC into IM. So if we substitute those two expressions in this, you will get VM IM by 2 divided by 2 by pi into VCC into IM into 100. So if you solve this expression, you will get pi by 4 VM by VCC into 100. Here IM will get cancelled. So if you take this term here, you will left pi by 4 VM by VCC into 100. So this is the formula you will get for the efficiency percentage. So next we need to calculate the maximum efficiency. So in order to calculate the maximum efficiency, here see, if whenever the peak value of the collector voltage VM increases, then the efficiency will increases. So the maximum value of this VM will be equals to VCC. So VCC, here the maximum peak value of the voltage VM, that is equals to the supplied voltage VCC. So you will get VM equals to VCC for maximum efficiency. So if you substitute that value here in the before section, we got the expression is this one, right? That is percentage efficiency is pi by 4 VM by VCC into 100. But in the case of maximum efficiency, we are considering VM equals to VCC. So if you substitute in the place of VM equals to VCC, then here you will get this one. So pi by 4 into VCC by VCC into 100. So here you will get VCC gets cancelled. So you will left the percentage efficiency is 78.5%. So here the maximum percentage efficiency of class B push-pull amplifier is 78.5%. So next, power dissipation. We already seen that the expression, that is the power dissipation definition, the difference between the DC input power to the AC output power, we call it as a power dissipation, PD. So we will write this as PD equals to PDC minus PAC, that equals to, in the before section we got the expression PDC equals to 2 by pi VCC IM minus PAC, we got VM IM by 2, right? So from this here power dissipation PD equals to 2 by pi VCC, and here from equation 3, here we have from equation 3, here we have the expression in the place of IM. So in the place of IM we need to substitute this expression VM by RL dash. So if we substitute in the place of IM VM by RL dash and in the place of IM VM by RL dash, then you will get this expression. Okay, 2 by pi VCC VM by RL dash minus in the place of IM VM by RL dash. So VM into VM, it will become VM square divided by 2 RL dash. So this is the power dissipation expression, that is PD equals to 2 by pi VCC into VM by RL dash minus VM square by 2 RL dash. Next we need to calculate the maximum power dissipation. So here, in order to calculate the maximum power dissipation, we need to differentiate this above equation. Okay, so in order to differentiate the above equation here with respect to Vm, and it should be equating to 0. So differentiating the power dissipation expression with respect to Vm. So dPd by dVm equals to, you will get 2 by pi VCC by RL dash. We are doing with respect to Vm. So Vm won't come here. So 2 by pi VCC by RL dash minus, here if we differentiate Vm, the Vm square will become 2Vm. So 2Vm divided by 2 RL dash equals to 0. So you will get 2 by pi VCC by RL dash equals to Vm by RL dash. Here 2 will get cancelled. So if we take here, you will get equals to Vm by RL dash. So Vm equals to, you will get 2 by pi into VCC. Okay, so here we got Vm equals to 2 by pi VCC. So now we need to calculate the condition for maximum power dissipation. So hence here we have the expression PD max equals to 2 by pi VCC into Im minus Vm square by 2 RL dash, right? But here we have the expression Im equals to Vm by RL dash. So 2 by pi VCC into, in the place of Im, Vm by RL dash minus, this expression will be like that only. Now we seen that we got Vm equals to 2 by pi VCC. So we need to substitute in the place of Vm 2 by pi VCC. So if you substitute in the place of Vm this expression, then you will get the equation as PD max equals to 2 by pi VCC into 2 by pi VCC by RL dash minus 4 by pi square VCC square by 2 RL dash. So from this expression, what this equation will become? 4 by pi square VCC square by RL dash minus 2 1s 2 2s here. So 2 by pi square VCC square by 2 RL dash. That is 2 1s 2 2s cancel. So 2 by pi square VC square by RL dash. So the final maximum power dissipation expression you will get 2 by pi square VCC square by RL dash. Okay, this is the maximum power dissipation expression for class B push-pull amplifier. Next, if we see the advantages and disadvantages of this, here see the efficiency will be more than the class A amplifier. Okay, so that's why we are moving on to this push-pull class B amplifier. Another advantage is that the power dissipation will be 0. Okay. And the another main advantage here is the ripples present in supply voltage will get eliminated. Okay, the ripples which are present in the output we can get eliminated. And the another important thing is, in this case the impedance matching will be possible. So these are the advantages of class B push-pull amplifier. Next, coming to the disadvantages, here we are using center tapped transformers. So due to this, what is happened, the circuit will become bulky and also costlier, and the frequency response will be poor. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of class B push-pull amplifier. Next we will see the next topic, complementary symmetry class B push-pull amplifier.